Ever wish you had a superpower? Like one that lets you update these super complex systems, but you could do it with this crazy precision.
Okay, I'm listening. What kind of superpower are we talking?
One where you only changed what was absolutely necessary.
Like a super focused editor for reality.
Exactly. And get this, that's basically what React does with your web user interface.
Wait, really? How?
It's all thanks to this process they call reconciliation. It's honestly one of the reasons React is such a game changer in web development.
Okay, so React keeps web apps running super smoothly, even when they're being updated all the time.
You got it. Today, we're going deep into how it all works.
Let's do it. I'm ready to get into the nuts and bolts.
We're talking the virtual DOM, which is kind of like a blueprint that guides all those efficient updates.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the reconciliation algorithm.
Right. It's like the brains of the operation, figuring out exactly what needs to change to keep your web page in sync with your React code.
And for those of you who are real deep divers, we'll even touch on the fiber architecture.
Yeah, we'll see how React keeps everything running smoothly, even as web apps get more and more complex.
So whether you're prepping for a technical interview, building your own React apps, or just fascinated by how things work, stick with us.
Understanding this stuff will give you a huge appreciation for why React is so popular.
I think a lot of people take it for granted.
All right, let's start with the virtual DOM.
Okay, sounds good.
It's this lightweight representation of your actual web page, right?
Exactly. It's like a virtual copy, but it lives in your computer's memory, not on the screen itself.
So why is that so important?
Well, you see, manipulating the actual DOM directly, that's super slow and resource intensive.
The browser has to redraw the entire web page, even for tiny changes.
Pretty much. And that gets expensive fast.
Yeah.
So React uses this virtual DOM as a way to work around that. It's way faster to experiment and make changes on this virtual version first.
So every time something changes in my React app, React updates the virtual DOM first.
You got it. And that's where the genius part comes in. React compares this updated virtual DOM to the previous one.
Like playing Spot the Difference.
Exactly. And by doing that, React can pinpoint the absolute minimum changes that need to be made to the actual web page to reflect the updates. It's super efficient.
Okay, so this reconciliation algorithm, it's not just blindly updating the whole page every single time.
No way, that would be a disaster. The reconciliation algorithm is all about being super smart about it.
So if I make a small change, React only updates that one little part of the page.
You got it. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine you've got two versions of a shopping list.
Okay, I'm with you.
The reconciliation algorithm is like a really meticulous shopper. It goes through each item on both lists to figure out what's been added, removed, or changed.
And then you only need to go to the store for the differences, not buy the whole list again.
Precisely. That's how React does it with your web page. And that's how we get those super fast, responsive web apps.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned this thing called the fiber architecture earlier.
Right.
Is that how React manages to keep up with increasingly complex web apps?
Absolutely. See, as web apps started to get more and more sophisticated, that original reconciliation process we were talking about, it started to show its limits. It could slow down when things got really heavy.
So fiber's like React's way of handling the big league.
Exactly. It was designed to solve this problem by allowing React to break down those big reconciliation jobs into smaller, more manageable pieces. Think bite-sized chunks.
Makes it easier to digest, so to speak.
Right. And this means it can pause and resume its work without getting bogged down.
So it's all about making sure the browser can keep up with the updates.
Exactly. That's the key. Fiber makes sure things run smoothly, even if your web app is packed with dynamic content.
So it's like a super efficient project manager for web updates.
That's a great way to think about it. Everything gets done, but in a super organized way that doesn't overwhelm the browser.
That's brilliant. Is there anything else Fiber can do?
Well, this is another cool thing. Fiber can prioritize different updates. So urgent stuff like user input,
Okay, yeah.
that gets handled right away. Less critical updates can wait a little bit. It creates a super smooth experience for the user.
It's like React is predicting what the user's going to do next,
Right.
making sure those updates happen before the user even notices.
You got it.
So what does all of this mean for someone actually using a React app?
It means they get to enjoy faster, smoother, and more responsive web experiences. The fact that React puts all this effort into how it updates the web page is a huge part of why it's so popular with developers.
It's clear that React is built for the modern web.
Yeah, users have high expectations these days.
So to recap, React's virtual DOM and reconciliation algorithm are all about being efficient and smart about updates.
And with the fiber architecture, React is basically future-proofing itself.
Yeah, it can handle those increasingly complex applications that we're seeing everywhere.
It's a really great example of how clever engineering can have a huge impact on user experience.
Absolutely. So I want to leave you with something to think about. Where else could we apply this idea of minimizing changes?
Oh, that's a good question. What do you have in mind?
Well, could our own daily workflows benefit? Or how about a city's traffic system?
Those are interesting.
Or even how decisions are made? What if we had a reconciliation approach to problem solving?
That's an interesting thought.
Just something to ponder as we go about our day.
I like it. Thanks for bringing that up.
You got it. And thanks for joining us for this deep dive into React's reconciliation process.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, keep those virtual DOMs spinning.
I'll do my best.